The war was loud, long, and full of fire. Planets burned. Ships exploded. Screams echoed in space. It was called the Thorn War. It almost destroyed everything. Captain John Rayner was only 26 when he landed on the cold planet of Xeris. He was part of the human army sent to attack the alien race known as the Zerathi. They had blue skin, glowing silver eyes, and sharp language. But they were not monsters. They were fighting to survive just like humans. John didn't think of politics. He followed orders. Shoot, clear rooms. Move forward. Don't stop. The Zerathi colony on Xeris was almost empty by the time John's squad reached it. Its smoke covered. The skies, buildings were broken, fires burned, and bodies too many lay across the ground. But something felt wrong. This wasn't a battle anymore. It was a cleanup, a slaughter. John walked into a cracked stone building with his rifle raised. The light was low, and the air smelled like metal and ash. His boots stepped over broken glass and blood. Then he heard it. A soft sound, like breathing, hiding. John moved slowly toward a pile of rubble. A strange shimmer caught his eye. Something small was hiding between two broken walls. He pointed his weapon, ready to shoot. But then he saw her. A little girl, blue skin, big silver eyes, wide with fear.
Ash.
She was curled into a ball, holding a broken necklace in one hand. Her body shook. She was bleeding from her leg. She looked up at him, terrified. John froze. She couldn't have been more than 7 or 8. She was scared, alone, and wounded. His finger was on the trigger. His heart was beating fast, but he didn't shoot. He slowly lowered his rifle and said softly, "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The girl didn't understand the words, but she saw his eyes. They were not cruel. They were tired, sad, soft. He put his rifle on the floor and raised his empty hands. "Come here," he whispered. She looked unsure. Then she slowly crawled out of the rubble, limping. She fell once, cried out, then kept crawling. John stepped forward and gently picked her up. Her skin was warm. Her pulse was weak. John took off his jacket and wrapped her in it. Through his earpiece, his squad was shouting, "Captain, where are you?" "We found some live ones. Orders say to terminate." John looked at the girl in his arms. He pressed the come button. "All clear on my side. Just Bodies, roger that. Keep moving." John carried the girl out the back of the building, hiding her in his backpack under his coat. She didn't make a sound. She just held onto that necklace and closed her eyes. That night, John found a quiet place in the ruins where no one would search. He cleaned her wound with water from his canteen and gave her half his rations. She ate carefully, eyes never leaving him. "What's your name?" he asked. She blinked, then touched her chest. Kale. Kalira. John smiled. "Kalira, that's a pretty name." She pointed at him. "Who? Man." He nodded. "Yes, human. I'm John." She said it softly. "Jan." Close enough for 3 days. John hid her. Every time his squad searched buildings, he led them the other way. He told lies. He kept her safe, but the mission was ending. Soon, transports would leave. He couldn't take her back to base. She would be studied, locked up or worse. So he made a decision. That night, he left his squad's perimeter and walked. Deep into the forest with her on his back, they reached a hidden cave where rebels once camped. There he found an old emergency beacon and left her food, water, and a small med kit. He looked into her eyes. "I have to go," he said. "But someone will come, friends. Good ones. You'll be okay." She didn't understand all his words, but she knew what he meant. Tears filled her eyes. She grabbed his hand. John gently placed the necklace around her neck. "Be strong, Kalira." She whispered something in her own language. A prayer, maybe. Then, before he turned to leave, she did something that shocked him. She bowed, not a child's bow, a deep, respectful bow like a royal or a priest might give. Then she touched his heart with her hand. John stood still. Then he walked away. Never. Looking back, The war ended 2 years later.
Oh.
John left the army. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. He settled on a quiet colony planet called Velen's Rest. Far from politics. Far from battlefields. He bought a small farm and raised crops in peace. He never spoke of Kalira. He didn't even know if she lived. But sometimes, at night, he would stare at the stars and wonder. 30 years passed. John grew older. His hair turned gray. His body ached, but he still worked the land. One quiet morning, the sun was just rising when a shadow passed over his fields. He looked up. A massive ship was descending, silent, black, and shaped like a spear. Nothing like human ships. It was Zarathi. John dropped his tools, guards, and silver armor, stepped down from the ship. Their skin was blue, and their eyes glowing. They moved in perfect formation. He stepped back, unsure. Then a woman stepped between them. She was tall, graceful, and wore a cloak of silver and blue. Her skin was smooth, her eyes sharp, her presence powerful. She looked at John and spoke one word in perfect human language: kneel. John blinked. The soldiers raised their weapons slightly, watching him. The woman stepped closer. Her voice was steady. Kneel before your empress. John stared at her. Then he looked into her eyes. And suddenly, he knew Kale Ira, the little girl he saved, had returned. The palace was alive with tension. After the capture of General Vorin and his conspirators, Queen Thalexa's hold on Velmara had been restored, but the wounds of betrayal ran deep. The halls that once whispered threats now buzzed with cautious hope. Yet, for Jordan Reyes, the man who had come here as a simple maid, everything was about to change. The day of judgment in the Grand Hall, where once shadows had ruled, the queen stood tall, her lavender skin glowing softly under the crystal chandeliers. Around her, the council members who had betrayed her were brought forth not in chains of cruelty, but with the dignity of justice. Jordan stood beside her, his eyes scanning the room. He felt out of place. This was not the life he had imagined when he answered a simple job posting. But now, standing with the queen, he felt a purpose deeper than any battlefield he had known. Thalexa raised her hand. Silence fell. "The time of deception is over," she said, her voice calm but firm. "These men chose greed over loyalty. Their actions nearly destroyed our home." Her gaze softened as it met Jordan's. "But we will rebuild. Together." Mercy and strength, the queen decreed that the traitors would face trial in the sacred galactic court. They would answer for their crimes fairly, without vengeance or excess punishment. Jordan admired her choice. "Mercy," he said later, as they walked through the palace gardens. "Not everyone would do that." Thalixa smiled, her silver eyes warm. "Justice is not weakness. It is strength guided by compassion." Jordan nodded. An offer and a question, not a private ceremony. The queen presented Jordan with a medal, a symbol of honor rarely given to known aliens. "You risked your life for Velmara," she said. "For me, you are no longer a servant here." Accepted it quietly. "Stay with us," she urged. "Your skills and heart are needed." He looked down, conflicted. "I'm just a human," he said softly. "You're more," she replied. "You chose to stand when others fled." New role. Jordan began training alongside palace guards and diplomats. He learned the customs, languages, and secrets of Velmara. He wasn't just a maid anymore. He was a protector. The people, too, began to see him differently. From a stranger, he became a symbol of hope, and with Thalexa by his side, he felt something new stirring, a connection neither had expected. Quiet moments one evening. Under the twin moons, Jordan and Thalexa walked along the palace balcony. The stars twinkled above them, silent witnesses to their unspoken feelings. Thalexa reached for Jordan's hand. "I never thought I would trust a human," she said quietly. Jordan smiled. "Neither did I." They looked out at the glowing city, below, bright, alive, full of promise, the future together. The queen turned to him. "Will you stay, Jordan? Not as a servant, but as something more?" He squeezed her hand. I will. For the first time in a long time, Jordan felt at home. Epilogue. The maid who became a legend years past. The story of the human maid who saved an alien queen became legend across the stars. Songs were sung and tales told of courage, trust, and unexpected love. Jordan and Thalexa ruled side by side, building a future where humans and aliens stood together, and every day, Jordan remembered the simple job that changed his life forever. The days following Jordan's return to Velmara were filled with tension and uncertainty. Though the Galactic Court had ruled in favor of Queen Thalexa and the traitors were arrested, the palace still felt like a trap. Whispers floated through the halls like ghosts, and eyes watched every move Jordan made. He wasn't just a visitor now. He was a symbol, a target. Unseen enemies one afternoon as Jordan walked through the palace gardens. He noticed a strange figure watching him from behind. A tall hedge. The figure disappeared as soon as Jordan turned. That night, a message was slipped under his door. Meet me at the old observatory. Midnight. Come alone.
Ow!
Jordan hesitated but knew better than to ignore such a summons. At midnight, he made his way through the dark corridors, heart pounding. The old observatory was dusty and silent. Its large glass dome cracked, but still magnificent. Inside stood a tall alien woman with silver hair and piercing green eyes. I'm Lyra, she said quietly. I'm part of the Queen's loyal circle, but some here want to see her fall. Jordan nodded slowly. So you want my help? She smiled faintly. More like your trust. The traitors left behind dangerous allies. Together, they planned their next moves. A dangerous mission. Lyra explained that a secret weapon, hidden in the palace's vaults, could turn the tide against their enemies. If it falls into the wrong hands, Velmara will fall. The weapon was an ancient artifact, rumored to be powered by star energy. Jordan's next task was clear. Find the artifact before the enemies did. Into the depths, Jordan and Lyra descended into the palace's deepest vaults, places even the Queen rarely visited. The air was thick and cold. Strange glyphs glowed faintly on the walls. As they moved deeper, alarms suddenly blared. We're discovered, Lyra hissed. Shadows moved in the dark corridors. They fought off several shadowy figures as assassins, sent by the traitors' hidden allies. Jordan used his training, striking quickly. Dodging blows, they reached the chamber holding the artifact, a glowing orb, pulsing with blue light. Jordan grabbed it carefully. Escape and betrayal as they turned to leave. Lyra suddenly stopped. Wait, she whispered. Jordan looked up to see several palace guards blocking their exit. Lyra's eyes met his. I'm sorry, she said softly. I had no choice. Jordan's heart sank. She turned away as the guards closed in. Captured Jordan was taken to a cold cell deep within the palace. The walls hummed with energy. A familiar voice echoed through the chamber. Did you really think it would be that easy? General Voron stood before him, smirking. You've been useful, human, but now you're a problem. Jordan clenched his fists. He wasn't done yet. Hope and darkness in his cell. Jordan found a hidden panel. Using the skills he learned on the battlefield, he manipulated the locks. With careful effort, he opened the door and slipped out. The palace was darker than before. He moved silently, searching for an ally. The Queen's rescue, meanwhile, Queen Thalexa, was under house arrest. But she was not helpless. Using her royal training, she sent a coded message to Jordan. Following the signal, Jordan found her hidden chamber. Together, they planned a final stand against their enemies, rising together with renewed hope. Jordan and the Queen gathered loyal guards. They confronted General Voron and his conspirators. After a fierce battle, justice was restored. Velmara's future was secure. The Queen's chamber was quiet, with only the soft hum of glowing crystal lights above. Jordan stood in the middle of the room, tired and sweaty from the mission. Queen Thalexa held the data crystal in both hands, her silver eyes glowing with a mix of joy and tension. You've done what no one else could, she whispered. This holds the truth and the power to save my throne. Jordan leaned against a pillar, still breathing hard. So, what's next? You show this to the people? She shook her head slowly. I can't show it here. The court is full of spies. Even the palace council may be involved. The only place this will be accepted is the sacred galactic court on Zarinus Prime. Jordan frowned. That's across the sector. I know. I'll never let you leave. She looked at him. That's why I'm not going. Dangerous offer. Jordan stood straight. Wait, what? I want you to go, the queen said. You will pose as a royal courier, carrying this evidence directly to the court. He blinked. You want me? To carry royal secrets across light years while everyone is hunting you? And I'm not even from this planet? That's exactly why you must go, she said. You're the only one they won't expect. Jordan stared at her. You sure you trust me that much? I don't have the luxury of doubt, she said quietly. Besides, I've seen your heart. You risked your life for someone you barely knew. She placed the crystal in a small metal case and closed it. The seal shimmered. Then she handed him a thin silver chain with a dark emblem at the end. My personal sigil, she said. It will give you access to the court chambers and protect you from most scans. Jordan took it gently. What if I get caught? I'll kill you, she answered, without hesitation. But if you succeed, Velmara survives. Jordan stared at the seal, then he looked back up. I'll do it. Goodbyes and shadows. The queen led him to a secret hangar deep beneath the palace. A small diplomatic vessel waited, hidden under layers of rock and energy fields. Before he boarded, Thalixa placed her hand on his chest. I never expected this, she said. Not from a stranger, not from a simple worker. Jordan smiled. A little funny. I never expected to care this much about a queen. Their eyes met. Then, without words, she stepped back and gave the final command. Fly true, Jordan Reyes. I'll come back. Bounty and the Stars, the ship, took off quietly. No alarms, no patrols. The Queen's access code still worked as soon as they left Velmara's orbit. Jordan activated the ship's AI. Set course for Zarinus Prime. Silent flight. Avoid known patrol paths. The ship obeyed, adjusting its path through asteroid belts and ancient trade routes. But 2 hours later, a warning flashed on the screen. Bounty issued. Human male. Suspected of treason and theft. All ships. Detain or destroy. Jordan cursed. That was fast. He checked the bounty image. It was him, clear and sharp. Someone inside must have seen me, he muttered. Mercenary trouble. His path took him through the Halleck's Drift, a lawless zone full of pirates and smugglers. He kept the ship dark, but a signal still reached him. Unknown vessel. Power down and prepare to be boarded. Jordan looked out the window. Large mercenary cruiser had appeared behind him. He tried to dodge. They fired a warning shot. Too fast, he powered down, pretending to surrender. As the ship connected, Jordan grabbed a small blaster from the emergency kit. He hid behind a control panel. 2 mercenaries, boarded, one large, reptilian, the other short with 6 arms. Only one life form, said the tall one. Human. Check the cargo, said the other as they searched. Jordan slipped behind them. One shot. The short alien dropped. The reptilian turned, but Jordan ducked and fired twice more. Both fell. He grabbed their access cards, disconnected the boarding ramp, and fired the ship's engines. The cruiser tried to chase, but he jumped into hyperspace just in time. The long flight the next few days were hard. Jordan didn't sleep much. He kept the ship hidden, only stopping at small outposts for fuel and water. He avoided major ports and didn't answer any signals. Sometimes he replayed Thalex's last words in his head. You're the only one they won't expect. Other times he wondered if this was a death mission. Still, he kept going. The case with the crystal never left his side. On the 7th day, ship's AI gave the final message, arriving at Zarinus Prime in 1 hour. Court of the star Zarinus Prime was a planet of floating islands, glowing towers, and endless lights. It was home to the sacred galactic court, where empires sent their leaders and criminals alike. Jordan's ship was scanned dozens of times as he landed. He used the Queen's sigil to pass through each level of security. A robotic voice guided him through marble halls filled with beings from across the galaxy, some tall, some floating, some made of light. Finally, he reached a chamber. With 10 glowing thrones, the judges of the court sat in silence as he stepped forward. He placed the case on the stand. "My name is Jordan Reyes, human, former soldier. I speak on behalf of Queen Thalixa of Velmara." The judges did not move. "I bring proof of betrayal. Inside her council of deals made with the Trinex Empire to sell Velmara's future." He opened the case. The data crystal floated upward and began to glow. Holograms filled the room images. Recordings, secret meetings, the judges leaned forward. One of them finally spoke. "We will investigate. The crystal is valid." Another judge looked at Jordan. "You risked much, human." Jordan nodded. "I didn't do it for medals," the third judge said. "The accused have 2 days to surrender. Velmara will be protected until truth is found." Jordan stepped back, and for the first time in weeks, he exhaled. Across the stars, the message spread fast. Across Velmara, that the people saw the truth. Jordan standing in front of the court showing the evidence. The traitors were arrested. General Voran tried to escape but was caught. Others were stripped of power. Queen Thalexa was cleared. She sent only one message to Jordan. "You did it. Come home." Return of the Humana. A week later, Jordan's ship landed on Velmara Prime once again. This time, guards saluted him. Banners flew in his honor, and the Queen herself waited at the landing pad. She wore a new robe, white and gold. Colors of victory. Jordan stepped down from the ship. Their eyes met. "You survived," she said. "You're still queen," he answered. She walked closer. "No more secrets, no more missions." He smiled. "What now?" She paused. "Now, I ask you something real." "What? Will you stay?" Jordan looked around. The palace, the people, heard aught, and nodded. "I'll stay." Jordan didn't sleep that night. He kept staring at the data pad he found behind the mirror. It showed tunnels, patrol schedules, and secret passages marked with glowing red lines. At the bottom, there were 3 words that chilled him. Trust no one. The Queen had chosen him. Why? He didn't know. Maybe because he was a human. Maybe because he was a stranger. Maybe because he had nothing to lose. But it didn't matter anymore. He was in it now. Deep. At sunrise, he burned the note and the file, just like she told him. The ashes fell quietly into a small fire pit built into the wall. That day, everything looked normal. He cleaned silver plates. He folded purple banners. He dusted art pieces that floated in the air. No one said a word to him, but he noticed strange things. Guards stood in places that weren't mentioned in the patrol list. Some hallways had whispering. Devices hidden in the corners, and some servants walked in loops, repeating the same tasks. Again and again, like machines at lunch, he was called to serve water in the royal garden. That's when he saw her again, the Queen's. Warning Queen Thalixa sat under a tree with glowing orange leaves. Her robe flowed like liquid darkness around. She was speaking to a tall alien general in gold armor. The man had eyes like hard stone and a voice like dry glass. Jordan approached with the water tray. Pretending to be slow and nervous, the Queen looked at him briefly and turned back to the general. "I expect your loyalty, General Voran," she said softly. "You always have it, Your Grace," the man replied. But his tone was too smooth. Jordan felt the tension between them. He poured the water and stepped back. "Leave us," the Queen said suddenly, without looking at him. Jordan bowed and left the garden. But as he turned, he heard the general's voice shift. "You're losing control, Thalexa. You know it." Her answer was too soft to hear. Later that evening, a note appeared in Jordan's towel pile. "Midnight, Corridor 7. Come alone." At midnight, he sneaked through the dim halls and reached Corridor 7. It was quiet. Too quiet, he pressed himself against the wall and waited. Then a panel beside a statue slid open. A pale hand reached out, grabbing his wrist. He didn't fight, The queen pulled him into a narrow hidden room. It was barely big enough for two people. Soft purple lights glowed from the floor. The walls were sound pro. Alexa stood close to him, too close. Her silver eyes were sharper than ever. "You found the datapad," she said. "Yes," Jordan replied. "I read it all." "Understand what I'm asking you to do?" "Not everything, but I know enough." She studied him for a moment. "Good. Then we don't have time to waste." "The truth behind the throne?" She tapped the wall. A small screen popped up. It showed maps of the palace and several images of alien faces marked in red. "My advisors have betrayed me," she said. "They plan to overthrow me within days." Jordan frowned. "Why not arrest them now?" "Because they've planted watchers all over. If I move against one, the others will act first. I can't trust my guards, not even my personal aides." "So you picked a cleaner." "I picked the only person here who isn't in anyone's pocket," she said. "You were unseen. A shadow. That's what I need." Jordan crossed his arms. "What exactly do you want from me?" She looked at him seriously. "There's a vault below the old royal library. Inside it is a data crystal. That crystal holds proof of their secret deals with the Trinex Empire or enemies. If I can show that to the Galactic Court, I can stop the coup. And you want me to steal it? I want you to retrieve it, quietly, without alerting the palace." Jordan nodded slowly. "When?" "Tonight." Into the tunnels, the queen gave him a small device round, black and smooth. "This will disable cameras for 20 seconds. Use it wisely." She showed him a passage hidden behind an old wall near the servant baths. "Follow it to the library's lower level. Watch for the beast." "Beast?" "There's a guardian. In the tunnels. Ancient. Trained to kill intruders." Jordan stared at her. "And you're just telling me this now?" "I said it would be dangerous." She stepped closer. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "You don't have to do this. You can walk away. No one will blame you." Jordan looked into her eyes and smiled. "Too late now, Your Majesty." The tunnel was dark and cold. Strange roots crawled along the ceiling. Jordan held a small light in one hand and the jammer in the other. He followed the map in his head. Left, down, then right. Soon he reached an old stone door. Symbols glowed on the surface. He tapped one. The door slid open with a deep hum. Inside was a large round chamber filled with floating shelves and ancient scrolls. In the center was a glass pedestal, and on it, the crystal blue. Bright, pure energy. He stepped forward slowly. That's when he heard it. A low growl from the shadows came, a creature unlike anything he'd seen, like a six-legged panther made. A black smoke. With glowing red eyes, it growled again and circled him. Jordan froze. He slowly reached into his pocket, pulled out a piece of dried meat from dinner and threw it to the side. The beast sniffed it, then lunged at him. Jordan rolled under a shelf, grabbed the pedestal, and yanked the crystal free. Alarms began to hum faintly. The beast roared and jumped again. He hit the jammer. Button lights blinked and ran for the exit. Back to the queen, he reached the hidden door just before the alarm. Systems lit up. Guards shouted in the distance. Jordan shoved the crystal into a cloth bag, slipped through the tunnel, emerged near the queen's chamber. She was already waiting. He handed her the crystal. She looked at him with real emotion, surprise, relief, and something else. "You actually did it?" she whispered. Jordan panted. "Was there ever a plan if I failed?" She smiled faintly. "Yes, but none as brave." They stood in silence for a moment. Then she spoke, her voice soft but serious. "You've done more for me than anyone in this palace. I owe you more than words." Jordan looked away. "Just keep your throne. That's enough." "No," she said. "It's not." She stepped closer. "There's more I must ask you. One last thing." Jordan looked back into her silver eyes. "What?"